finally got things aligned. It's starting to look more like, a slow but steady uptrend. We've got some highs to take out, and that should happen soon, sooner rather than later, right? If not, the more we stall, the more uglier it looks. But really, I want to say, I want to provide you guys with some optimism, because I think I think our boys need it. Because I think what matters most for you guys is movement, and when it's neither trending nor is it moving, this is where people, they get very discouraged. They start to question whether what they were doing was right or wrong all the time. It's just markets go through gray areas like this, and these gray areas are the most catastrophic for traders. It's where you're used to seeing movements and responses from levels that you have mapped out that otherwise worked the past 2-3 months, and now you're just kind of seeing them always run short, or you're always not getting filled at the right area, and it's always running without you, or it's just cutting you short. These are the moments where you need to identify, well, if it's not working today, and if it's not working tomorrow, and I'm not given everything I do need to take a trade, what you need to do is follow those exact rules, right? You can't start to play mind games with yourself and go, well, like, oh, well, yesterday it did this, so I'm going to adapt and do that. That's really how people begin to lose their footing and become, caught in whatever you see over here, right? I mean, it's no mistake. The price action is chaos, and that's just because, quite literally, a lot of people don't know what they're expecting, or can't at least gauge the time it would take to get what they're expecting, right? So just keep that in mind. We got some problematic levels here, and that always seems to be the case in the middle of this intraday chop, right? So just something we need to keep on our radar. And yeah, we're about 21 minutes to the open. So far, it seems like one of those pre-market open pumps, which never strike me as nice, because that means we're running high, or we're running prices on low volume. So we need to be careful here. A lot of weird alts just running much higher than our majors, which is not the best sign for me. Not something I like to see, but that's just me. And of course, right, you have a new macro environment, right? So ironically enough, we've had everything we need. When we consider like positive bullish headlines, we've had everything we needed, really. So that's been a bit troublesome. So I guess our next best focus is to look for signs of negative headlines not having any effect in the same way, and that should be a sign of an environment changing. But right now, it's just a trendless mess. By textbook definition, it is a perfect setup. But because we have some conditions here, with New York Open being 20 minutes away, our bottomed oscillator pretty much overextending on such a weak move with declining volume, it's not looking too hot. It's not looking too hot. What I'd like to see in New York session is probably something like this for the first hour or so, because this rising so quickly on lower volume is not the best. And we'd like a deeper deviation, because this is just too tight. Again, like we'll get chopped if we're only given a deviation like this. Like I'm also just going based on the past few days that have always spent most of its time just trading between either the R1, the S1, and the pivot, and it's just not enough movement. Not enough movement to permit the risk, I think, is the word. Chop is the exact word to put it. Again, these long periods of chop is where people usually lose their minds. They over gamble. They over risk because the movements have become so small. And make no mistake, we're not bullshitting you here. Look at this. We've been at the same price, more or less, for over a week now. Almost 2 weeks straight. We've just been flatlined at this mid range here, or I would say this is more towards the bottom of the mid range, but yeah. And when we say except for rates, we had some bad macro developments this week. CPI and PPI both suggested that inflation is not under control, and that takes away the argument of rate cuts in June. But then you have on the other side this administration saying, well they'll come down, and that's again, when we're dealing with indecisiveness like this, that's what a market hates the most. It's better and easier for us to understand a clear direction, not have an influence as powerful as the president of the United States, and then an influence on financial sectors as powerful as Jerome Powell, having two completely different opinions on something like this. So that creates indecision, that creates instability for people, right? And that's where this chop comes from, right? It's a lot of these no clear directions, right? It would just seem like months ago we were on board to tackle inflation, and rates would just consistently come down, and then since November 5th, it's been, well, wait a minute, maybe we overstepped, and now we have to change our approach. It's a perfect coincidence, isn't it? And with the DXY dropping, it just makes me assume more and more. And we talked about this last week. We talked about it on our two past Wednesday streams with DB. If you guys have never shown up, I encourage you to do so. That already, the rate pauses. The rate pauses and the expected rate cuts are already being priced in. Like if the dollar's good at one thing, it's pricing itself in months in advance. And right now we are hanging by a thread before falling back into a multi-year range. This is to assume, and I'll tell you just based off how I look at this with the naked eye, and how I look at it based on the past 4 years, right? We're talking in general chat about potential rate hikes. Now I think this to be preposterous, because the only reason why we've ever raised rates in the first place is because they were originally so low to begin with, right? If you guys remember 2020, 2021, we had based on what you might believe or might not believe, nonetheless, affected economies greatly. We had the pandemic, right? And that pandemic led to some changes in monetary policy where pretty much quantitative easing was turned on. Rates are brought to near 0%, and money supply inflated, right? Naturally, that's what happens. You make money free to borrow, and people will use that, buy scarce assets, pay off their 0% interest loans, and so on and so forth, right? So you consider the situations in 2020, 2021 where rates had to come up, right? And the only reason for that being was, well, we're near 0%. Money supply has gotten out of control. We've allowed borrowing to be free for year. I want to say almost a year and a half. Don't quote me on the exact time, but we've allowed money to be free, and we've allowed people to refinance their homes and everything for pretty much 0.2%, 0.3%, sometimes even in some cases 0%. At one point, they were paying you to buy gold. We'll just go not gold. Don't quote me. Oil. Sorry. If we go back to this dreadful day where I met the first billionaire I've ever made based off this trade alone, we went below zero on oil, right? So essentially they were paying you to buy oil, right? It was probably the most wackiest time all of us will ever be alive for in our financial careers. It's probably going to be the most notable moment in your life if you were part of markets during that era. But all this to say is that things were extremely out of whack, and the reason for the dollar having to raise rates the way we've seen over the past, from the November 22nd all the way to 2023 and 2024. The reason for that being was because of the monetary policy adjustments we had to make to that, right? So naturally rates had to come up. They were near 0%, but now they're quite high. And they're much higher than they should be, right? It should be somewhere between, not near 0%, but I would say around 2 to 3%, maybe 2%, 2.5%. It should be somewhere around that, right? and that's the focus, and we need to get back there. Like raising rates at this point, it does no harm. I mean, it does no good for an economy. It does more harm for it at this point. So keeping them completely still is just fine. So all this to say, the reason why a market is kind of doing this right now and pricing itself in advance is that the belief of raising rates is just no longer an option. It's either going to stay the same for an indefinite moment of time, right? Or it's going to go down, which naturally makes the dollar cheaper and cheaper as time goes on, right? So that's the whole belief, and why I think the dollar is just really quick to price itself in months in advance. So again, the recent comments from Trump mixed with the comments and testimony of Powell saying, well, hey, rates need to kind of stay the same. We need to bring them down slowly, yada yada yada. And then the other guy going, well, with all our tariffs being imposed and with all this, well, rates need to come down to help the economy, to benefit the economy, to help investors. So a little clashing of two very influential characters. Who will win? That's, to be decided. But just to say, weak dollar. Traditionally, it's good for our markets because anything that suggests money supply is becoming weaker and weaker. That means the hunt for assets that would outperform holding in dollars begins, right? It's a very very simple belief system. It's if my dollars are cheaper, why would I hold them? Um, and with that being said, what can I buy um, that would outperform this? And that's when you start to look towards common stock, blue chip companies, hard assets like gold. I would consider Bitcoin these days a hard asset, but to the TradFi world, it's still considered speculative, risk on. I just think they're out of touch with the times. Do I think if Doge cuts spending, the inflation will go down organically? I don't think it does much with inflation, but I think the taxpayers get a pretty big break. What I think Doge is there for is to realize how much money is actually being wasted, what could be saved, and what could actually be used more efficiently for the taxpayer, right? Like over the past 3 weeks, we've been, or I wouldn't say we, but this administration's been digging up stuff that if anybody knew years in advance or had to vote on it, where their money would be going, they would be very very upset and would ask themselves, how does this help me, the taxpayer? Um, so we're in the process of that. There's a lot of outrage, and you can hear the screeching of I don't want to call them democratic because I think most Democrats wouldn't align with today's Democrats, but more the screeching cries of corruption coming from the. They've identified themselves, with the left side of politics, but I don't really think they represent the left side. But yeah, when you expose corruption, they're gonna get loud, they're gonna get nasty, and they're gonna say all bunch of shit, right? It's like a. Have you ever heard Have you ever heard a kid that doesn't want to get caught, like in a because he knows he's gonna get in trouble, like the shit they'll say? That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. And you as a taxpayer, right? If you're an American taxpayer, and you're seeing that your money is just going to any country but your own, and it's not like to prevent something like a genocide or to prevent like mass spreading of I don't know, like fighting a plague or adding water supply to like a nation that's in a drought. No, it's stuff. It's completely unnecessary stuff, right? If you're a taxpayer, you're like, what the fuck is going on? So that's really what's going on with the Doge. Does it help inflation? I don't think so. I think what's going to help inflation. What would help inflation actually? I think raising rates at this point would devastate an economy that's trying its very best to stay afloat. But at the same time, I think bringing rates down. You could bring rates down without having to inject billions and billions of dollars of money into the system. You could bring them down to like an affordable rate, but like making it free, pretty much that would be bad for business. A small little premium on borrowing just to allow the USA to refinance their debt. The truth is it'll help inflation in the long run, right? Like The cutting of government spending, the way they've been doing, the reason why it would help inflation in the long run is because they can actually maybe use money to you know strengthen their economy, their infrastructure, maybe even make purchases on behalf of the taxpayer that can actually appreciate in value, not deteriorate, right? There's a lot of angles to this, and I'm no politician, but it's just to say like there's a lot of ways you cut the spending, you finally can understand where your deficit is coming from and how you can refinance that. But if you're just going to continuously spend and hemorrhage money, um, like what good is for example, like what good is a football player's contract that makes 500K a week if he's spending 520K a week? He's just as poor as you. You get what I'm trying to say? But if you're spending, I don't know, 300-400 billion dollars in excess capital that would otherwise be saved or spent on more efficient things, then you finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, you need growth, and to have growth, you need to be willing to invest in your country and allow people a chance to do the same. So you do need rates to come down. You don't need to inject money supply and give people free checks. Like no, but honest investment coming back, allowing people to speculate, invest in the country. That's probably how you're gonna fix it. But raising rates at this point, you would just be wiping everybody. Like raising rates wouldn't make any sense. 5 minutes out till open, guys. We're just chilling. We're in the waiting room. See what happens. Dems trying to get a government shutdown March 14 over budget. What effect might that have? Any sort of government shutdown is just to stop the immense amount of progress that this administration's been doing. And again, it's subjective, right? Because you'll have people on the other side of the spectrum thinking that like, oh my God, they're destroying everything. But that doesn't really matter because the majority voted for this, both in an electoral way and by a population vote. When it comes to a Senate, a House, they got everything, right? So by definition, the people voted for this sort of action to be taken. So Dems doing this and trying to impose a government shutdown is more treacherous than it is fair democracy. The effect that it might have is just like things get slowed down and for people that are meant to be working for you, it's kind of counterproductive, right? To petty stuff. Will we have a phase two this year? That's not up to me, but I would say crypto markets move really fast. Their cycles are very quick. I think a phase two is on the books for this year. Absolutely. But I think the biggest problem is the thing about participants, right, is when they constantly ask me about phase two, it's like they do nothing to take advantage of phase one. You see what I mean? It's more of like a cope and hanging by a thread thing. Like if you know phase two is not here yet and you know you're in phase one, why don't you extract the market? If you can identify these two different scenarios, why wouldn't you do your most to extract from a specific part of the market? We've had some incredible run-ups this year, some that even caught me off guard, particularly Solana, BNB, and XRP. It's hard and I'm lazy. Well, dude, you are in the thing about trading, right? I make this comparison a lot. The thing about trading is it's not divided by skill or like there's no age gaps, there's no talent gaps. It's you in a bowl or in a league with everybody else. Now, how can I best define that? It's not like you're climbing the ranks. It's not like you're climbing the ranks in like a sport, right? It's not like, oh, I need to play provincials, then regionals, and then I eventually get put into like a semi-pro league, and then all of a sudden I'm signed by a Premier League team. It's I don't know how it actually goes in English football, but like for something like hockey, it's like you're categorized by age, then you're categorized by skill, then you're categorized by what rules you play in based on the league you're in. But like in this case, you know, there's no gap. There's no restriction on who you're going up against. So consider yourself like an 8-year-old, you know, playing a game with Connor McDavid or playing a game against Wayne Gretzky or Sidney Crosby. It's like there is no filter there, my friend. So like saying something's hard or that you're lazy, it's like, well, there are people in, you know, this category, which is the realm of trading, that are not, that don't find it hard and are definitely not lazy and are definitely doing everything, every waking moment that they're awake, everything they can to beat you, because there's no pity, right? It's the accolades are all up for grabs. There's no participation reward. It's you against them. So like you could be someone that plays, you know, football on Sunday in a beer league, but at the same time, nothing stops you from going against, you know, like a Vinicius Jr. and fucking Cole Palmer or whatever, you know. Like you're in that same league as them, whether you treat it as a Sunday sport or whether you're getting paid 500K a week. Like there's no filter. So always remember that when you enter the world of trading, is that you know you're up against these guys all the time, like all the time, and they feel no pity because it's their own accolades and rewards they're after, right? 2 minutes out till, well, 1 minute out till open. Let's see what our response is. I don't like that. I don't like that going into the open, man. I don't. Well, let's see. Let's see. It's better we kind of just stay where we need to stay. Thoughts on accumulating spot right now, such as ETH and low cap AI coins? I mean, if you wanted to, again, I'm not going to tell you which ones I think will move and stuff, but you know, if 90% down or 70 to 80, 90% down is not a place to start DCAing in, or especially for a bag you have an idea on, then you know, like maybe you might be doing it wrong, but like, you know, people were so excited to DCA on the first 5% drop, 10% drop. Now it's 70, 80, 90% down. It's like people are scared. So like I don't say throw everything in all at the same time, but you know, now would be the time to maybe start accumulating. Right? We have New York Open. Now would be the time to start, like, you know, taking an amount you're happy with, maybe DCA it over the course of like, I don't know, 60 to 90 days, see how you perform. It's definitely better than, you know, the past 3 months. SPX just make new highs? Oh, it's fighting for new highs. It's right there, boys. It's right there. This looks insane. This chart is insane, dude. Holy moly, man. This looks like it wants to make new highs today. How's Dow Jones struggling underneath its highs, and the Nasdaq as well. It's a pretty decent open for now. The dollar just continues to plummet. So keep that. I always make all the fucking mess on my charts, man. I mean, this looks good. This looks good to me. XRP is the new S&P. See, there's no insane volume off the open here. Range high rejection, or at least we're not even getting there. I just think crypto's lagging. I think it's lagging really hard, and that's because of this liquidation event we had. It is Valentine's Day, by the way, yeah? Oh shit, I have no plans. Well, it is 2025, right? I can like order flowers and shit, right? Am I able to? They will charge you a premium because they know you fucked up. It's okay. It's okay. The problem is, guys, it's been such a bad snowstorm here. I want to say like fuck, I don't know, like a 40 centimeter snowstorm yesterday. So like going out right now is like the worst thing ever. And even yesterday, I couldn't leave. All right, decent open, decent open. Let's go. Holding 200 EMA, the pivot. This is what we want to see. But like, will we just get chopped to bits again? I mean, it's fucking annoying, man. For ETH, you got the same signal, but at least this is a bit more problematic. I think you get above here, you start to consolidate like this. That's a range high breakout, and I do think you're good. What I mean by this is it'll look like this. Oh my god, so many lines, dude. You want to get out of this range. You want to get out of here. You don't want to be back in here. Coinbase selling. I mean, it's all right, but yeah, they are. Why isn't my thing loading? Jimmy, it's better if you go over my educational stuff. I have a whole series on it. It's more informative than just giving you like the runaround. Like I'm still reluctant on the trigger here. I don't know. Maybe I'm just spooking myself out. I'm just reluctant, man. I every day you feel like you need to make a move, like because something's gonna run without you. Especially in these environments, you usually just chop to bits. So yeah, it plays a role on everybody. And look, this is gonna be the day that I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing it this time, and it finally sends, right? That then you go, oh look, the market's personal. It's literally always me. Like the market is so easy to make you feel like it's so good at doing that. Just remember, it's never personal. Um, Try to always stick to your system as much as you can. Even if you'll take 3, 4 L's in a row, maybe have like a negative week. That's because my 200 EMA or my Q EMA, I should say, is very proprietary to me. It's my secret sauce. It's like a lost relic in the world of indicators. Yeah, make sure you don't fall into that dangerous mindset where because you didn't take the move this one time, or because the one time you took the move it does exactly this, and like never ever ever fall into that mindset. It's destructive. It's destructive to the psyche. As a trader, you just want to always just take things as such. You don't want to start second guessing yourself. The second you do that, you're doomed. Because the one time it happens, you're gonna feed yourself on that, and one time, and the 50 times it doesn't, well, you're just gonna ignore it. So it's better you just. Yeah, well, the long should be right here, guys. Like, I think I'm just boo boo the fool today. That's a cheeky 3 mil sell. Like, what are these gaps up here? I've never seen this before. My thing's doing that thing again where it's super slow, bro. My fibs are automatic. They're automatic. They reset every day. And if I really wanted to, I can go back. for the past week, right? They're automatic. I too have infinite POCs. Look at that, guys. I could trade off any level I want if I really wanted to. But I keep it simple. I keep it simple. I like to look at it as a day-to-day outlook. And that's it. Because these are going to be the most active bids of the day, whichever way you look at it. These will be the levels most people will respond to on a day-to-day basis. Early fake out, it's likely. I mean, is it likely? It's possible. What I'm saying is it's possible, but at the same time, you're getting a really strong move off a really good level. The only thing I don't like here is our oscillator's been extended a bit off the single push. So I feel like we're just gonna get another day where we trade between these two levels. But let's see. I don't know. Because we're desperately trying to move off this 200 EMA. We've tried a number of times to do this now. So hopefully this is for real because we've also failed to break down right from the mid range. So and again we've tagged the liquidity right. What you need to see is that we've tagged the liquidity to the downside already. So like to go back down here that you wouldn't want to see that. That's not good. Like you should be gunning for the range highs now, or at least the mid range, like at least 102. You would want to see this now. Michele's expecting a breakout. I mean, my chart suggests the same. Everything I have would suggest a breakout. Like you're just rounding off your bottom here. Like you're rounding it off. It should send. It should send. I feel a bit in my own head. Bottoms in and we're never back. You treat it as a range. You're in a range. So when you're in a range, it's natural to expect that, it's less rewarding for a short to want to fucking shit. It's less rewarding for a short or a long to want to be open up here. What we have is we tagged this range low 2 weeks ago. So our next real area of interest on this daily chart, right, is to expect a tap into the range highs. That would be the most natural thing. But of course, you can also just get like something like this back into the range lows, and then if it wants to do this, we've seen it time and time again. It'll do something like this. So again, I'm tagged in from the range lows here. So that's the pivot point standard, Randy. That's right here. And that's what it is. Looks like a roll of lifesavers. How often do I actually place trades on when it's trending every day? When it's trending every day, but when we get a chop like this and it's trendless, my system will pull the plug on me because it's identifying no trend, and when there's no trend to identify, the risk does not become justified. So it feels like for the past week I've not taken any trades, and that's because I haven't. It's been. I mean, what are you gonna make through all this? You know how much decisions need to be made through this, and what your moves are? What 2 to 3% at most? 3%. The risk doesn't justify the action. But when we're in a strong trend, it's every day because you can identify a trend, you can identify that, and any pullback into your area should be met with a strong response. But after such a large liquidation wipe, those books are pretty dusty, right? So now the market is restabilizing. It's determining where's liquidity most desired next, right? We already tagged the blows of the liquidity. Technically, it should be towards the range highs. But that doesn't necessarily mean it can't just, W bottom and then come back up and then. So that's why, like, until a clear trend is established, right? The only trade we've taken in the past 2 weeks, I want to say, is this range low tag here, and that's for a daily range swing, right? But for the intraday, it's been rather trendless. Yeah, Randy, I have a whole educational section, and then we also have a recording section. So if there's anything, there's a ton of like previous streams. So far, it's looking okay, but with the real kicker I have here is this ETH range level here. You have the staking, you have everything you need. You have everything you need to send this. So like if it's not going to do it here, then I'm a bit concerned for ETH holders. You have everything you would need to recover this. But I mean, technically, you're also at a range high here. Consolidating at the range high. It should have a move. There's just so many conflicting factors. You got your range high over here. You got your 200 EMA, which you want to flip, by the way. It's conflicting. Like it's conflicting. But then you have your volume oscillator that suggests extreme bullish momentum, but at the same time you're met with such a. Yeah, you don't like the lows on ETH, but I this feels more like a capitulation candle than anything. I feel like you'll get exactly this, just a bit higher. Like it'll be something like that. And that would look like a man, like when we're really looking at it, like if it were to do this again, it would do something like this, right? Okay, let me draw this out for you because I already see it happening. I see this is what's gonna happen. This is most likely what will happen. Instead of just a straight up bearish retest like this and then continuously back down, there's a scenario where it could play out like this. But the more realistic scenario is it does something like this. And then it does something like that. I really am a strong believer that it does something like with your 200 EMA looking like this. And that would be like this right here would be your phase two. It would look something like this. Or I'm sorry, maybe it would look something more like this. It would look like this. You guys see what I'm seeing here? Like it would look like that. Just like a reaccumulation echo bubble. That's my hopium for you guys, because that would indicate like a summer altcoin rally, and that would probably be like my phase two trigger there. If you can make a structure like that, that's more a sign of a phase two to me. BTC breaking out. Oh, let's see. First 15 minutes are up. I don't like pumping straight off the open, but at the same time, I do like the dollar weakness. I do. I do. Die, you sack of shit. Die. I think people are pricing. You know what this looks like? This feels more like people are pricing in that POTUS words mean more than Jerome Powell, and rate cuts will be sooner rather than later. I'm a firm believer of that. But what I don't like, and we're just inching on new highs on SPX here. Um, I don't like how we're running these quickly. Feels like we're just feels like we're running perps here. Me no pH. Yeah, going in a weekend, it's a bit sketch. I feel like we're gonna get that move that we got for the past 2 weeks, where we kind of just tag R1, we bleed out, and then you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you guys have saw that move like the past few weeks. But hey, I'm good. I'm good with a move up. I'm not too bearish. I'm just more on like the side of like we're just gonna get chopped to pieces. But if this is it, like come on, man. Like come on, bro. There's been so much that's been bought here. It's a joke. What's Solana doing? Yeah, there you go. Come on. Strong move. Strong move. Let's go. You got to take out this level though. This level means everything. Solana 2 above its 200 EMA and pivot. Less aligned, so it looks more like it's gonna be inefficient. What about XRP? Oh yeah, baby. How did I miss this? Ah, yes, I see. Bruh. So close, man. So close to a generational buy, man. Okay, so that's hovering in its R3 levels. Can expect a continuation if you consolidate like that. You don't want it to fall back below now. You don't want it to do that, okay? You got to look for this. This would be your levels of invalidation. Unfortunately, that's an aggressive, very aggressive setup. You got to be careful in the event that it does this. Just be very careful of that. What else do we have that looks interesting? Ooh. This is my boy Trump. Oh, man. Oh, man. That just engulfed 2 weeks worth of sellers. That's wild in one single candle. I don't know. It's looking juicy. Oh no, poor fart coin. Come on, BDC. Do your thing, man. Don't just fucking hover between R1 and S2 again, bro. Like, it's gonna do that, isn't it? Beware, boys. Cheeky sell wall on Binance, 98K. Negative deltas, more sellers than buyers. But pretty stacked all the way to the range lows. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Nobody took the bait yet, so that's good. That could be. But even the 1 hour now is starting to align in a way that we want it to. We just need we need we need continued volume here. We can't fizzle out. We can't be rising on lower volume. So this move so far is good, but the volume needs to continue surging. Problem is your oscillator is getting exhausted now. But that's normal. It's going into R1, R2. Long 95 580. Well, how would he how did he long 95 580? Oh, you said a limit, you mean? I wouldn't want it to come back down here. This should continue going if it's going to have a strong move. Again, you've scooped up a lot of you've trapped a lot of people selling here. Trapped a lot of people selling here with fake breakdowns. You even made a guy panic sell here. Someone fucking panic sold here big time. That should be punished. This should be punished. Let's see. What do my smaller time frames tell me? Trending on the 5-second. Pretty good to me. Let's see. The first real test. The second real test. Ooh. Ooh, this is interesting. Oh, baby. Come on, hold above this. You gotta hold above this at all costs. Come on, man. You guys fucking called for this eat staking. Let's go, fuck. I finally believe in you guys. Let's go. The dollar must be dying like tremendously right now. Gold barely budged. What's Nvidia doing from that post nuke? Look at nobody gives a fuck, dude. Oh my god. Can I check cow? Oh my god. They should make a old McDonald index. Oh yeah. Intraday just suggests strong downtrend, but it could be reversed. Could be reversed off this colliding factor here. You'd probably want to see like a pop like this, something like that. The 200 EMA looks something like this. Volume's kind of low though, so just keep that in mind. For now, it's just in a downtrend. 200 EMA, pivot rejection. It's more likely to play a rejection off this than it is to reclaim it. But in the event that you are maybe seeing a trend reversal here, it would come with reclaiming the 200 EMA, aligning itself with the pivot, and holding above that to create a base. But in this case, I wouldn't be too optimistic on it. Almost done our first 30 minutes of trading here, so let's keep this in mind. We did our spike of, so please do not. You don't want to fake out back into the range. That would kind of suck. BDC still doing that exact same thing we saw 2 Fridays ago. Where was last Friday, so I could reference what I'm talking about. Where is last Friday? I know you're here somewhere. Ah, yes. Look. Friday. You guys remember this? Spiked up, very, very strong. First 30 minutes of trading is good. Then all of a sudden, 10 o'clock hits, and we just fucking nuke. So, and if I go back to next Friday, if I go back to the previous Friday where that happened, I'll show you the exact same scenario. Ah, yes. Right here. Oh, look, Friday. 9:30 market opens all the way until about 10:30. This time around, we do that same aggressive push off the 200 EMA and the pivot, and then we just fucking nuke again. So I'm kind of hoping this is not the same playbook that they run. My Sui bids missed by fucking Pico hair, my friend. In fact, whenever I go back to take a look at it, I get very depressed. It's a very sad thing. Truly, it is. The area I had interest for Sui is no longer gone. But that was it. That was so no spot, unfortunately. Did he drop bombs of info? I can't remember. I remember it was like some tariff mumbo jumbo, but that came at the end of the day, not during the day. So that's why there's like a slight, it's like a slight discrepancy there. But like USDT Dom to break these lows here. How's my Bitcoin dominance looking? Straight downpouring. Interesting. So this looks like it's going back for another 200 EMA touch. I doubt it'll respond here, but that would be interesting. It'll look something like this probably. Let's see if we get this 4 hour close like this. 1 hour close. I don't know, man. I hate this. I hate this. You liquidated someone for 6.6 mil. Like that's convenient. Let's see. Volume's been good though. Diffinex is the only one buying. That's interesting. Okay, that's the hour close, right? We're gonna get that little surge of volume. We see, look, now you see what I mean? Volume oscillator starting to get extended here. So like buyers are out of momentum, right? They don't have the momentum right now. What's most likely to happen here to still be considered healthy is probably something like this. While this resets, for example. Probably see something like that, which would be the same exact playbook as the past 2 Fridays. But I'm trying to be optimistic here. Trying to be optimistic. You need strong buyers. They need to be present. Let's go. But just how fast the candles are moving, to me indicates that it's not going to take much to send us. It's really not. Yeah, there's been millions of people calling for alt seasons. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I think I'm the only one. And don't get me wrong, guys. I have spot bags too. It's just when I say I buy spot, I mean I'm buying spot. Like doesn't matter what happens for the foreseeable future. You know? But you've never seen me take a leverage trade. You've never seen me allocate X amount to one position all at once. It's just it is what it is. Like, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm the only one. But there's something I want to say. Like when he means alt season, I don't think he means like I don't think he means it in phases like I'm talking about. Like I do think he means that alts have tremendous upside from this point on as a catch-up play, and in that case, I might agree with him because I do think you've gotten the worst. I think you've gotten the worst. Might take some time, might underperform a bit, but as a catch-up play, I think we have some catching up to do with alts again. So in that case, maybe to some. I don't like the word alt season because alt season doesn't look like this. Alt season is when nobody like, and I mean nobody's paying attention to BDCs because every day people are just printing 40-50% on every pairing. That's alt season to me. But like a catch up play where alts outperform in the short term based on percentage moves, yeah, I'll tend to agree. In that sense, I'll agree a bit. Where I think alts got a bit harshly punished, harshly mispriced in that last down move over the past 2 weeks. Like I think a lot of them are severely beaten down. Yeah, for me, an alt season is every day coins are making new highs, and we're not talking new highs that are before their 2020. We're like talking new highs, like BDC did this year or last year, I should say. That's alt season to me. When E flip BDC, when BDC is probably at like 250, 300K. So overextended now. No bueno. Must be news. I mean, it barely nudged. It's very illiquid right now, the market, right? Crypto Task Force discussed an inclusion of staking and ETPs of Jito Labs and multi-coin capital. Bro, staking in ETPs with Jito Labs and multi-coin capital. Either I'm getting old or I didn't understand a whole part of that last part. Yeah, Jito is JDO, right? Let me guess. Up 300 gajillion%. That's so nuts. That's so nuts. 3 minutes. This is worse than Pokemon pre-orders. That's what we call alt season. I don't know about that. Alt season doesn't look like this, my friend. You want to know what I call alt season? You want to know? You want to know what it looks like to me? Hold on, let me show you. Oh my God! Look, they don't even have the data anymore. That's how fucking far back it was. I'll show you what a real alt season looks like. Hold on. Where can I find the most data? Here? Probably here. Well, that didn't do a goddamn thing. Okay, hold on. Oh, yes, yes, yes. You want to know what alt season looks like to me, my friend? You kids from the new school. Want to see what a true? You want to see real level, Morty? That's the time I got introduced to Solana. Wait for it. Hold on. No, I'm being a bit too generous. Hold on. This is when I got introduced to Solana. And by the time it was all said and done, oh my God, look, I can't even show you because it's just so ridiculous. Hold on. That's an alt season, my friend. That right there. This is what we live for. What's another one I could show you guys? Decisions. I can even go back to 2017 and show you guys one of those. That was the real OG alt season when nobody could sell because nobody had derivatives options. Doge. Oh my God. Yeah. Let's go to Doge. That was the day I made 60 grand in 15 minutes on one trade. Hold on. Those are the days, my friend. Oh man. You guys have no idea what a real alt season is. Hold on. Ah, yes, I see. Oh, what a fucking time to be alive. I can't even show you how fucking ridiculous this was. I can't even. Oh my God, dude. Look at this. Look at this. It just gets worse and worse in the best way possible. Look at this. Look. I can't even show you how ridiculous this was. The 30 cent. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Whoo. Hold on. I ain't done yet. Hold on. Okay, so we were like somewhere over here. Where was it when me and John Long that day? Where was it? Fuck, I can't remember. Where was it? December 26th, 2020. I still remember. It was the exact day. December 26th, 2020. Okay. It was right there. Brothers, I still can't even show you for how ridiculous this is. Do you see that number? It's just like, don't talk to me, you know? As they would say in New York, don't talk to me. Like that is an alt season, my friends. I'm just saying, bro. Like I'm just saying. Like, and you see, as we reminisce on the good times, look what happens. How do you hold that long? We didn't. We didn't. We made at that time, because you could identify the market conditions, we had really high risk tolerance, right? So at that time, I was still much more of like a more on the newbie side. Not a noob, but you know, like it was still fairly. That was the first time I was ever early to an alt cycle. So I just knew the risk had to be very risk on. I knew it had to be very big. So naturally play with large numbers. Um, and again, like that trade lasted a total of like I want to say 45 minutes. I was up like 65 70K in a matter of minutes. Like you don't know what that does, guys. Like that was a lot of money to be making in under an hour. You know, like it's just sometimes it's just so unbelievable. The problem is like we kept relonging the same sort of setup over and over again. You milk that. Like you only know an alt season like that, like Yeah, he's still waiting because again, at that time, BDC was in a realm of its own. Like it had already done multiples of pretty. And by the way, this is what exactly what I was worried about. By the way, guys, it's pretty much running the same exact playbook of Fridays, the past two Fridays. If you guys were here, you guys know what I'm talking about. It front runs that R1 level. I'm usually waiting for that last deviation, which is somewhere like right here. And for that reason, I don't take it. It runs all the way to my first take profit, and then it just nukes straight through. It's the same as the past 2 weeks. Have you guys noticed? Like the same exact play, the same exact one. Deviation, fall back into the range, complete fake out above the range high. Like, holy moly, bro. Yeah, go back and watch the past two streams of how every Friday open has went. We run up before the market opens. Market opens. First 30 minutes look great. Nuke straight after, and it's just gonna continue to do this all day. I'm open to being wrong. But yeah, in an alt season, you got to have a wider risk tolerance. You got to have a wider risk tolerance, I think, just a bit wider. But you also need to be able to identify you're in a price discovery market. You need to be able to identify a surge of buyers. Back then, we had, for the first time ever, Elon Musk mentioning Doge. Like that was huge. You didn't have in 2021. You didn't have the news traders with bots like you do today. You get what I'm trying to say? Like back then, it was like we were the first ones to see. We were like, oh my god, we got to long this, and that's like, you know, when you're in a real alt season, like you'll see what I mean by like you just have no time to have your eyes anywhere else. But this time with the USD weakness, could be a different BDCPA. It could be. It could be. Like again, I'm just going based off like because you know, trading is about spotting patterns, and I see the same exact pattern I've seen for the past two Fridays now. The same exact one. It's well documented. Like it just always seems too good to be true off the 200 EMA and pivot, and it's been faking everybody out, including myself. That's why I didn't take it today. It's just I feel it. Like I don't know. Maybe you're not supposed to go off that. It's just call it a hunch. I know my system very well. I just know when it's gonna do that. Look, the exact same playbook, guys. Let me go back. Just reference it. The same exact playbook, guys. Like it's gonna do the same exact thing. It already did, really. Look, the same exact playbook. Pump, pump, pump. Burj Khalifa. Stall on the 200 EMA. Fall beneath it. Why are they doing that? Because everybody's choppy. Everybody's choppy. Everybody that just broke out long just panic closed. That's what this PA is telling you. They ran the liquidation of this guy, right? They ran the liquidations. That's sword price up till here, and now you're just liquidating all the FOMO longers. It's the books are too dry right now, guys. They're just too dry. Yeah, that's what it is. You're in a choppy, trendless range, right? So everybody's just trying to time the exact moment where it's going to either take off or break down from here. When really it's just been doing this. Somewhere between it all, someone's just buying your BDCs slowly, patiently, while the leverage traders just fucking give it all back and more. Like, but someone slowly but surely is just scooping it all up, and could do this forever and ever and ever until it's finally squeezed and met at a floor where supply is too limited in terms of the demand it's facing, and then it just gaps itself up. That's the nature of BDC. That's how it always trades. Oh, did we get our deviation? You see, now I would have loved to take this idea. The idea is now I would love to take this idea because it deviated. So a close back above would give me the trigger. Now the only downside opposing factor I have now is my volume oscillator is so extended that I can't possibly see a reclaim being a good thing. If this would have been flushed right now and we would have made this wick, we would have closed back above. That would have been a perfect long signal for me. But instead, you're met with a conflicting factor, which is sell pressure is the momentum of the bears. Does that make sense to you guys? Naturally, I would love to take this idea because it's doing that thing where I'm considering a level like this to be considered a deviation level. It kind of wicked out. If it wants to go back up, it would do something like this. Hold back above, but because this is extended, the sellers, the momentum's still in favor of the sellers. It's not exhausted enough yet. And that's why we can't take it. And that's why we're going to expect this to drop. Yeah, same playbook. Same playbook as the past 2 Fridays. My goodness. If I know anything about the way this chop's been going, we usually get S1, S2, which I hate to trade on. This is usually a waste of my time. I would love to get an S3 mean reversion. I would love this. I would love this, but if it's anything like the past few days, we're just gonna trade between here and here or here and here. Again, the only three places I operate from are the S3, pivot 200 EMA, or the R3. Because I assume these to be rushed bids. I assume these to be rushed bids, and if there's any value from a directional play, it'll be the stop hunt, right? So you bid here, you stop somewhere over here. I'd rather sell these stops. I'd rather buy these stops because you bid here, your stop is somewhere over here, right? Liquidations maybe somewhere down here. So you look for something like that, or you look for something like that. But when it's just going to hover between this and this, we're left in no man's land. And the risk doesn't justify the reason to play. Fernando, it's more just, chop chop. People trying to break out long, then panic closing. I mean, look how many people we just liquidated off stupidity. Like price barely moved 1% or 2%. Look at that, 1% move in both directions. We liquidated a $6.6 million short. Like don't like people just get more desperate. It gets tighter and tighter, and people get more desperate. So it's just constant flip flopping. Not fun. But you gotta let them. You gotta let them do their thing. Orbstrat says short. I mean, yeah, you made your breakdown here. Problem is your short. Is your short gonna pay you these 3 levels? That's really where I struggle. But I guess I'm in the same boat as you because I'm flat. If I'm flat, I don't have any exposure, right? So it's kind of the same thing. Price goes up without me, I suffer. If it goes down without me, if it goes down with me, then I get a chance to buy my mean reversion down here, right? So in a way, I have the same market outlook. Overall, I just think it's going to do something between these 3 or 4 or 5 levels, I should say, which is a waste of my time. Risk does not get justified here. You want the extremes. The extremes. Prices, prices haven't visited in a long time. That's where the money is. Wait. What about ETH? Full fall back into the range. Oh boy, huh? The line does not lie. It does not. Could you guys imagine if I opened shorts? Positive deltas now, so that's good. So we get a positive delta towards the 200 EMA and pivot. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. I like that. Kind of neutral, but slightly positive towards a level we have interest in. So look, if you absorb this, if we manage to just do something like this while absorbing this downside, this is, small enough of a deviation for me to consider that the risk to the upside is better than the risk to the downside, especially if this level could be reclaimed, right? That would justify the trade at this point. But you need to see the sellers get exhausted here. You want them to get exhausted at this level because it's the moving average, right? We need them to attempt to aggressively push, and signs of that being absorbed would assume there's a buyer here. So we flushed out quite a bit. We flushed out quite a bit of sellers, or at least the momentum they have, right? So at a very, very important level, if they can't break this, if they can't cause a chain reaction here that creates tons of selling, then a reclaiming of this puts them in trouble, right? You have a lot of people that tried to break down here. So you want to see this flush, you want to see this level reclaimed, you got a deviation. So now, instead of taking the setup we wanted to take earlier, this makes more sense because you have a level of invalidation to go off of, right? Naturally, if price goes back up above here, it exhausts the sellers and it continues to hold the 200 EMA. Any revisit below here or somewhere towards here would be wrong. It wouldn't be ideal. So you can easily set a stop there. Your risk is kind of tight, and you can expect an upside push because the breakdown attempt was made, right? You exhausted the sellers. It would have to look like that. But until then, you sit tight because you don't want to get chopped over. You don't want to be longing and and then it does something like this, and you don't want to be stuck in this. You want to see clear attempt to break down, a failure to do that, deviate back above, exhaust whatever momentum they have or whatever licks they were trying to run, realize that there's no more room to go, trap them, and go. If Woods gets filled, he's most likely going for a reversional play, right? So like he might get something like this. We might get like a full total breakdown. He gets filled somewhere in between here, and he's probably going to look to take profit over there. He's got an outlook that I could see as well. The problem is this, to me, more times than not, with my system and triggers, has proven to be unreliable for my system and triggers, right? It's always been better to just go for the money over here because the reversion just seems more likely and more worthwhile for the same overall target. I don't want to be too early to an idea like that. So it's not necessarily that he's fucked. It's just he has a different way of extracting from the market than I would. Again, every trader has like their own idea, right? BNB is exactly what you would think, Yannick. If you trade my system, you got some overhead resistance, a bit of distribution over here, loss of the 200 DMA. But again, it would look the same as if you managed to exhaust this, push up like that. It looks different in the same sense that if you were to do this and you would get something like that, well then, it looks more something like this. It all comes down to this line, which are perfectly aligned, by the way. Something to keep your eye on. There's a trade to be taken here. You just don't know which one yet. Yeah, and we don't get the S3. We're stuck in limbo. That's the most painful part about trading this range of my system. It eliminates the noise. So naturally, a lot of noise is found between these four levels, right? They should be used as take profits, not really entries. These should be used as entries, or this, because you're expecting these three areas to be take profits, or these three areas to be take profits. But the second you start making an entry here, expecting not only a 200 EMA and pivotal flip, but also like a level above that becomes a bit more problematic. You want to establish a base and then target one particular side rather than try to take entries from here and target this plus the breakdown plus like it just you're gonna make too many actions, too much risk to assume. What's up, Mouse? I'm actually probably getting off. It's 10:30. It's Valentine's Day, so I do need to figure something out really fast. But we broke down a lot of stuff today. I think we had an informative one. I think we had a pretty good one. You've been at the groomers with the dog. No, no, no. I knew it was Valentine's Day, bro. I gotta figure out something fast. Or else I'm gonna get that passive aggressive. No, it's fine. It's not even that big of a deal day, anyways. You know how women are. Look at the goodest boy. Look like a wolf, bro. But yeah, guys, it's been fun. Been a fun stream, an informative one. Hopefully, you guys learned something. A few words on Pavel's testimonies. I'll be honest, I gave a good listen to, I want to say, a total of 4 hours over the past 2 days. A lot of it doesn't really reflect us that all that much. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh my God, man, these prismatic evolutions are so overpriced. Um, a lot of Yeah. Okay. So the whole thing about Powell saying he's not in a hurry to lower rates and blah 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 blah. You have the POTUS now telling him that the opposite needs to happen with the upcoming tariffs and the upcoming imposings of things that they're going to do. So again, it's as we go along, guys. Like I don't think Powell has any more merit than the president of the United States. You know, one is appointed by the people, the other one is appointed by the administration. So again, always remember that, right? If the pressure's good enough, they'll side with the admin. If it's not justified, they'll side with Powell, which I don't think. One has more ammo to fire off, right? So again, I lean more towards POTUS having a greater, more dramatic effect, and the markets tell you this with the way the dollar's been playing out. Because let me tell you something: if dollars are meant to be still and not moving the rates for the whole year, they wouldn't be reacting like this. So again, I think Trump's comments matter more, whether people admit it or not. It is what it is. His testimony was mostly around monetary policy. The actions that have been conducted. It's mumbo jumbo for a lot of us. There was no edge in that. At least I don't think so. Right. But he kept his comments pretty straight. He didn't want to talk about politics. He didn't want to talk about the admin. He didn't want to talk about any of that. He just wanted to focus on what they think is best, which is again Powell being Powell. Whether that's accurate, inaccurate, he kept a straight face on that. He didn't entertain the lunacy, the panic talk. He just kept a cool, calm, collective, which can be a bit commendable, right? Yeah, the questions in many cases, a lot of the questions had nothing to do with monetary policy. They had to do with just screaming into the void like a bunch of banshees that can't admit they lost. So again, you know, we need cool, calm, collective people in charge, right? Not people that are gonna act ridiculous. Those are my comments on the testimony. Nothing too expensive. Nothing too crazy. Nothing worth mentioning, in my opinion. So just keep that in mind. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to be hopping off here. I want to thank everybody. Yeah, sorry about that. I just got distracted. I want to thank everybody for joining me on the solo adventure today. Next week we'll be back to normal. Me and Pocky, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., same time, same place. You know how it is. Um, yeah, but that being said, guys, have yourself a great Valentine's Day. Don't stay on the charts too much. Remember to spend time with your loved one. And yeah, have a good trade day. If there's any questions, I'll always be able to answer them. And yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.